Okay. Number 4, a sense of security. I love this. The word security means without care. It comes from a Latin word securus, which literally means without care or worry. When your spouse is with you, they shouldn't be worried. And the sad thing is, in many marriages today, people are most anxious when they're with their spouse. The last thing you want is to see your wife or your husband looking completely relaxed with outsiders out there, but when they're with you, it's like they're treading on eggshells. The sad thing in many marriages, that's the case. We know that. Come on, don't tell me you haven't been in that space, right? You're there with your siblings and so on. Do you know why that happens? Because at a certain point in your marriage, you find that you feel accepted for who you are when you're around certain people. But with your spouse, you have to perform. Okay? Ask yourself, how relaxed do I feel when I'm at home? One of the reasons why a lot of men come home late isn't because they're working so hard. They stretch it out. A lot of times they stretch it out. I'm not saying here, I'm talking about the men, the horrible men out there. They stretch it out because home is no longer a safe space. Home is no longer that place where they can just arrive and they know they're celebrated. And they feel secure. Why is it that someone, when they're with their family, they can be animated? When they're with their siblings, and they're not afraid of public speaking. But the moment they're at work, they're nervous. The climate is different, isn't it? When you're with your family, you know that these guys know me, warts and all my failure, but they love me unconditionally. Now I'm at work, I don't know where I stand with these people. Now, in many marriages, it's the other way around. And here's the scary thing. You will tend to avoid that which you fear. Have you noticed? You won't be best friends with someone you're afraid of. I'll avoid you if I'm afraid of you. I won't sit next to you. I'll be like, hey, I feel uncomfortable with that person. Many people are avoiding their spouses because they feel insecure around them. I feel safe, things will work out. One of the things I love is when I give Trace a hug, and we're just hugging, standing. And typically if it's in front of Daniel, our third boy, he'll come and he'll join in because he's a hugger person. But often Trace will then say, just tell me it's going to be okay. And I'll say it's going to be okay. Or I will say to her, this is home. And that's what you want. Sometimes we're in a situation where we go to some function or we go to some place and we're not too sure, like, where will we be? Which room will we use? Where will we go? Which lodge will we? And she'll say to me, you know what? I don't mind where I go as long as it's with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to challenge you. Make sure that when your spouse is with you, that's home. Does that make sense? That should be the safest place they feel. If I've been firm with my wife or critical toward her, will she feel safe if I give her a hug? No, she'll feel like, I don't know what the next thing is. There have been times in our marriage where she might say, I'm not too sure if I want to actually have another deep conversation with you because I'm not too sure what's going to come up. She's not feeling safe. Make sense? I want her to be in a space where every single moment she's just like, I want to catch up with my husband because that's my safe space. Sometimes she will phone me during the day, right? And she'll say, oh, this and this happened this morning and this and this and this. But it's just comforting hearing your voice. And I know I've got that type of smooth, soft, gentle voice and so on. You guys can try it sometime. Right? But the point is, your voice, gentlemen, should be that to your wife. Amen? Okay. Make her feel secure in your relationship and she will move mountains for you. So someone has once said, make her feel secure in your relationship and she will do what? She will move mountains for you. So what are the esteem builders here? When you verbalize your commitment to me, in other words, you tell me that you're here to stay. I'm here to stay in this marriage. Nothing is I'll never forsake you. Nothing will cause me to leave. Right? When you pray for me. How many of you feel secure when you know your spouse was praying for you? Okay. I know my wife does. If I say to her, oh, you know what, I was just praying for you, and this is what the Lord was showing me. It's like, oh, thanks for that. Knowing that someone has your back. When you run my bath, there's certain rituals that you can do that make your spouse feel secure. Right? When my wife was a bather, I think it's hot now or something, maybe in winter or something, when she was a bather, one of the things I would often do is like, my love, do you need me to run a bath for you? Yes. I'll just go out, run it, and so on. But I know it was little things like that that would make her feel secure. It's a symbolic thing, isn't it? Okay? When you tell me how much you love me, I'll encourage you, use these notes. That's why we've done a booklet where you can then pick some of these things and say to your spouse, I'd like you to do more of this, please. I love it when you do this, please try and do more of it. Oh, there's this that I really like, but I never thought you would do it. Can you try, please? Okay? When you're tender with me, when you listen with empathy, when you get me medicine when I'm sick, when you kiss me hello or goodbye, not just, okay, we'll see you later. And she wants a kiss. I've noticed with a lot of people, although they have the same skin color, their marriage is cross-cultural. You see, your culture is your values, your norms, and your beliefs. And I see it. I see people who got what we call who are SRBs, strong rural background. You see a guy from a strong rural background, and then you see the lady, same skin color. The lady comes from a background where she was, the parents were business people and they lived in the town, in the city, and she's all fancy and everything. And then they've got issues. I'm like, this is a cross-cultural situation. Right? Just think about it. So you have this lady who just wants her husband to touch her more, to show affection, right? And what happens? He's uncomfortable with it. He never saw it modeled. Never ever. How many of you here in this room ever saw your parents holding hands while they were walking? How many of you never saw your parents holding hands when they're walking? Okay? Most black people. Let's just be honest, let's just say it, right? How many of you ever saw your parents holding each other like this while they're sitting on the couch watching TV? Okay. How many of you saw that? Okay, just a few hands going up. Okay, right. So sometimes it's an adjustment. Hi, Christelle. There's your hubby over there. We'll try and make room. She's been at an important function. She's a very punctual person. We knew it up front, so don't regard her negatively. All right? So when you kiss me hello or goodbye, guys, this is not about culture, is it? It's about needs. And if you didn't grow up in an environment where you saw your spouse, where you saw your parents doing it, you can learn. There are many things you're doing today that you never saw your parents do. You've learned how to do it. You didn't see your parents starting up businesses the way you're starting up businesses, or doing fancy presentations at blue chip companies, but you're doing it. So don't say to me, because I never saw it modeled with my parents, then I can't. You're just being stubborn. Right? I've had to learn to be more comfortable with public displays of affection. I wasn't used to it. But now it's fairly natural, or more natural than it used to be. I'll get home afterwards and Trace will say like, you told everyone it's more natural. No, but she'll tell you it's now more natural for me. Does that make sense? But I've seen her parents and they're still like that. They can be sitting watching something and one has got, a knee on top of the other's thigh and they're relaxed and, it's all, that's what she grew up with. Does that make sense? Yes, I see a lot of people, especially black people, it's like they'll hold hands maybe when they're indoors a little bit. The moment they're out and everyone can see them. Please. Okay. We won't think anything. We'll just think you're being affectionate. I love seeing, you Monaco, you guys holding hands there and so on. Carry on. Jacob, I love that. That's good. It'll be a nice photo, Sipo. When you send me an affectionate text during the day, how many of you like that? Okay. Just be careful what you include in the text, guys. We don't want you to go into these public groups and so on. Okay? When you hug me affectionately, when you comfort me. Sometimes I'll hug my wife and she'll say, can you do it with both hands, please? I say, no, I've got my keys in the other hand. I don't want to hurt your back. All right? When you spend time with the kids, that makes your spouse, often the mother, feel secure. Ladies, how many of you feel more secure when your husband is spending time with the kids? If my wife is out training or doing something, and I'm just chilling with the kids, and it's effortless. We're watching something, I'm in and out of the lounge, and she comes back and thanks for being with the kids, thanks for the time you had with the kids. Oh, this is scoring me points. Hey, I'm just chilling with the kids. Just chilling at home. Okay, when you verbally affirm me in front of others, that's an important one. Some guys will only just say nice things to their spouse when they want to be sexually intimate. And their spouse is like, how come you only say this when you want to be intimate with me? Why didn't you say it in front of all those women at that function? One of the things that will make your spouse feel secure is what you also say about them in public. There's what you say in private, but what are you willing to say in public? When you demonstrate public displays of affection toward me. Ladies, how many of you love it when your husband is physically affectionate towards you in front of other females? Maybe females he's been friends with before. Hey, I'm seeing hands. Yeah. I'm picturing Mr. Manyuma putting it into practice. You'll know when he's dealing with this particular one, the sense of security, which week it will be. We'll be there at church and all of a sudden he's like, we'll be like, hey, Tendai, this is out of character. When you proactively plan for the family's needs, because then we know we come first. One of the big needs a lot of spouses have is domestic commitment. We want to know, are you committed to this household? How many of you are big on that? You want to know, are you committed to this? Is this more important than all your achievements, dreams, and goals out there? When you minister with me, I know that Trace loves it when I minister with her. She feels more secure when we're together. Can she minister by herself? Of course she can. She's very competent. But she loves it when I'm just there, featuring somewhere. All right? When you tuck me in bed. So guys, if you're the one who goes to bed later than your wife, right? Don't just, good night, okay, Karen. No, have that moment where you come and she's about to go to bed, kiss her good night. How many of you make sure you always kiss your spouse good night? Okay? Go, lie down with her there, even on the bed, just lie down with her, even though you know you'll be staying up a bit later, right? Joan is laughing. I know what Joan is thinking. Maybe that good night kiss might turn into something else now. All right, so when you assist me in problem solving, I feel more secure. I don't feel I'm alone in this. And one of these problems often is having to discipline the kids. I know many wives, they don't like handling that by themselves, right? They don't like handling that by themselves. And the mindset is, you know what, it's great. I know for Tracy, I'm glad that you handled that one. How many of you sometimes struggle where you have to you feel often like you're playing referee? Those of you with kids and you're like, I'm reffing, right? It's great when your spouse can just come and say, I'll handle this one. Okay? When you demonstrate domestic commitment, now that comes in different forms, ranging from feeding the dogs, like I told you earlier on, to cleaning up the dog's poo, like I told you earlier on, to washing dishes, right? But domestic commitment sometimes is just making sure that everything in the house is fixed. And if it's not fixed, those of us who are good at working through people, making sure that it gets sorted. Okay? When you, somebody saying amen. Your spouse then feels secure. I'm often, I'll say to my wife, yeah, no, I saw this and this and this. Yeah, I got Ben to fix this and this. Yeah, I made a plan with Ben to, yeah, no, I made a plan. Went to builders and got this and this and this. Or there's someone else who ends up doing it. But I can make it happen. That's domestic commitment. Okay? When you show me that I come first before your work, friends, and hobbies. What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? Does your spouse feel that she or he comes first before those? My general strategy, if I want to watch soccer, like this afternoon at 4, I'll always say to my wife, do you want me to give you a background? Then she knows she's guaranteed 90 minutes background. It's a nice win-win. So to build a sense of security, right? What's the security project? Make a list of your spouse's insecurities. What are their insecurities? Okay, sometimes you have to ask them that. Where do you think they come from? Your spouse's insecurities, where do you think they come from? What can you do to minister healing in these places? So don't just accuse them saying, you're too sensitive. Minister them. Why are they sensitive about such and such a thing? I know you're just insecure. Okay, well, how do we fix that? And you know what? Very often you're the primary minister to minister healing in that area. Remember that there's some gender differences here. Can I go there? Okay. How to make your husband feel more secure. Ladies, are you listening? Yeah. Number 1, understand his manhood. Understand that men and women are different. Go and research on it. What are the differences? We're not going to go into that just yet, okay? But just understand that he's wired as a man. And there's certain things men need, men love. For example, their work is very important to them. And when they feel like they're failing at work and not achieving, it affects them in other ways. Okay? So when you see your husband being there, very goal-orientated, always talking about his dreams, that's extremely important for a man. Okay? Understand his need for work. Demonstrate respect. That's a big one. Understand his sexual need. Adapt to him. Do you know what part of submission is? When you submit to each other, it's actually yielding to the other person. It's actually adapting. Oh, I like this, but he likes this. Let me see how I can adjust, okay, to my spouse. Share his dreams. Make sure he's not a lone ranger with his dreams just on his own mission. Get involved. Every single detail? No, not necessarily, right? But get involved. Show that you are interested. I know I love it if I've got a big engagement coming up and I have to speak somewhere. I love it when I know that my wife is carrying me in it. Guys, can you identify that? When she knows you've got that big meeting and you know that she's praying for you, you know that she's going to ask follow-through questions afterwards, or she'll phone you in the afternoon and say, so how did it go? How did it go? The worst thing is if spouses are only staying in their own worlds. So you've just done something that you think is world-changing and your spouse phones you and all she's talking about is what's happening, whether it's with the kids or herself or the latest thing she bought. Okay? Then you'll feel like, but wait a minute, we're sitting on different planets here. Okay? So share his dreams. How to make your wife feel more secure. Be thoughtful and demonstrate empathy with regards to the female world. The Bible says, husbands, deal with your wives with understanding. And it says, as the weaker vessel. And that word weaker there doesn't mean they're weaker. It means fragile, handle with care. Guys, the woman you married is not a dude. So don't judge her like you judge your male friends. Right? I still remember when I was still friends, I don't know if we were in a relationship yet. I think we just started our relationship back in the 90s at university. And I remember going up to Trace and I was like, yo, what's up? And she's like, Paul, I'm not your homie. I'll never forget that. That's one of the first lessons I learned. I'm not her homie. She's not my homie. Does that make sense? Okay. So understand the things unique to the female world. Make love with passion and focus instead of just going through the motions. Ladies, say amen, please.
Amen.
Oh, okay. All right. The last thing your wife wants to feel is that your mind is elsewhere. Your mind is preoccupied with other things. Okay? When you're sexually intimate. Demonstrate domestic commitment, i.e., invest in your family and not just your toys and projects. Okay? That's seen in investing in holidays. I don't know any woman, I can't think of any woman here who doesn't value quality time as a family, where we just go away together. Is there any woman here who can say, I don't like family holidays? No, I just want my husband to be at work. Appreciate her menial tasks. Those small things that she does, show her that you actually value those small things. So how do you make your wife feel more secure? Do what you said you will do. In other words, keep your promises. Keeping promises builds trust. Okay? Express praise and affection publicly. Be consistent, clear, and decisive. Your indecisiveness, this is an important thing, can make her feel insecure. Guys, women like decisive men. I don't think there's a woman here who can say, I don't like it when my husband is decisive. Right? When you're clear, this is where we are going, this is what I like. Not in a headstrong, stubborn way. But she wants to feel like I've got this guy who knows where he's going and what he wants in life. If you start being that guy who's always like, what do you think? Wait, what do you want? You might think that she likes that because she wants to feel respected, but after a while she starts feeling like, who's leading here? Like who? Because she doesn't want to decide on everything. Once in a while she'll have things that she wants to feel like she's an equal partner in and contributing. But I can tell you, especially those of you who are very super duper democratic about everything, if you keep throwing it back to her, there's a difference between I want your opinion because I value it, and I'm indecisive as a person, and so I'd rather you just choose and control everything. Do everyone get that? Okay? Don't be passive. Don't be passive.